there are levels in heaven. There are also levels of hell. How's everybody doing out there? This is The Awakening, and I am Solican. I want to go ahead and get into this message for you. Levels in heaven. This is something that the Bible gives you, it alludes to. It just doesn't go into a very in-depth dive, but it definitely alludes to this and gives you enough information for you to use your discernment. And also there's other religious texts. I'm one to believe that all inspired writings of God have some significance. Now, we learn that the Bible tells us that there will be rewards in heaven. Do you get it? There will be rewards and different statuses in heaven. Don't you get it? When when the disciples asked Christ, man, like where I'm gonna sit, where I'm gonna be at, and the Lord showed them that the child is gonna be, first in heaven. You understand? But he also the Lord also has disciples. He has prophets like Moses, people like Elijah, who God grabbed up. Like Elijah never died. God just instantly took him into heaven, like took his soul to heaven. You understand? People like that, they are gonna have different. And then it's not going to be like classism or anything. It's going to be because I already understood that there are certain men of the Bible that are better men than me. And I already understand that. That's me saying this. Okay. So I wouldn't trip if I got to heaven and they mansion was bigger than my mansion. I wouldn't trip. I just go visit my man Noah. You know what I'm saying? Go chop it up with him. Because you got to understand there's going to be levels to heaven. There's like the third, I don't know, like there's many, and I suggest that you read some other spiritual literature that touches on this, because again, the Bible speaks about it. It lets you know, like I said, that people are gonna be that there's gonna be levels, there's gonna be like rankings, that there's already rankings. You understand? But there's not gonna be any strife there. It's not a problem with ranking, because God's gonna be the head of everybody, and we're gonna be under that and understand, like we understand that God is the head. That's rank, okay? When you understand that you lesser than, that's rank. You understand? And it's not saying that it doesn't mean anything. That's just saying that's where you rank. And let that be. You understand? The problem is when you have jealousies and people who think that they should be there, and I think this. You have dual minds and stuff like that. That's where the problem comes in. Not that there is rank and levels to things. You understand? There's even rank and levels in hell. If you look at the comic book Spawn. I know that's a fiction, but let me give you an example. Spawn. There were when in that fictional universe of hell, there's levels. Malbolgia is the main villain of Spawn, and he's like the devil that Spawn is getting into it with. Like Spawn is Malbolgia, the one who's tormenting Spawn, but Malbolgia isn't Satan. Satan is on another level. You understand? And it's the same in the heavenly realm. In one realm, they have this going on. In another realm of heaven, they have this going on. In another realm of heaven, you have the holiest of holies where, it's closest to God. I think that's where the disciples is going to be. Where they on the throne, they've been transfigured, and now they in the closest level of God. They've earned that. They earned it on earth. It's the same way you earn what you get in hell. Do you think, just be real, because your common sinner is going to be tossed into hell the same way that Jeffrey Dahmer is going to be tossed into hell, or a person who did ate people's hearts and stuff like that, kill babies. Now, do you think that the common sinner gonna be in the same level of hell as the person killing babies and stuff like that? No. You know, that's gonna be, there's people who's had visions, and I trust their visions, man. These are honest people. These are people who, you know, who have no dog in the fight. They've had visions of seeing levels of hell. And this has been people all across the globe. You understand? Seeing levels. You understand? There's been, like, you've only had glimpses of hell and what went on in the Bible, because the Bible is pretty specific. You understand? But the Bible also says that we should study to show ourselves approved, which meaning there's other things. There's things we need to study to be able to get the full picture. You had people, spiritual people, who had visions of hell and who saw different levels. They saw people suffering one way. They saw another people who suffering and tormented another way. All of this is the things that you've cultivated within your life. Like, hell starts on earth, and those things are what send you to hell, or the very things, the hell that you create for yourself. And the devil uses, and his beings are using those things to continuously torment you. You understand? They're getting a kick out of it, of course. You know, we know that. We know they're enjoying your torment, but that's what they do. Like, that's their job. That's what they do. So, you know, it is what it is. But you're in that, the common sinner, a person who just never got out of their homosexual lifestyle. You understand? They continue to live a homosexual lifestyle and died in that. Those same people are not going to be in the same hell as a person who was, like I said, who committed mass genocide, who poisoned a whole laboratory of people. He went in there, he was working as a lunch lady, or a person who served lunch, and he poisoned the school lunch and killed a whole bunch of kids. He's not going to be in the same hell as the person who just was living a life and, you know, and died in a sin of homosexuality. It is what it is. It's still hell, though. Like, you know, don't get it twisted. None of it's going to be a party where niggas popping bottles. You saw, it's a show that I love, that's on Adult Swim. Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. It's a great, funny show. I know it's a crazy title, but I suggest you watch that if you're, you know, of age. You know, not for minors, but if you're of age, I suggest you watch that. It's very funny. It's about a demon who works in hell, and he like works in like the office of hell. Like, and it shows like, it shows like the clerical form of how hell works. Like, because it's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? A lot of things going on that the systems that they have, and you like wonder, like, dang, they're high, they're systems that are ran. Do they have an office there? But it's funny because you have the demon. He's basically getting running all the clerical work for Satan in hell and things like that. And it just gives you an idea, you know, of just, like I said, the Bible doesn't give you the full spectrum. The Bible does everything on purpose. You don't have to give you the full spectrum of hell. You know, you don't want to get there. You don't want to be there. That's just a place you don't. Do it have to describe all of the torments? The Bible will be a long book if it describes all of the torments and the specifics, the specifications of what went on there. But if you look at a comic book like Spawn, read that, it'll give you some insight. You understand? I'm a firm believer that the Bible and God himself, the Holy Spirit, it gives you discernment and directs you into things that you need to look at, literature you need to read, images you need to see, things you need to look at to be able to get full knowledge of the Lord and his workings and things like that. You'll get the full knowledge because you need to see things in the world as well. But yeah, it's levels to it. It's levels to heaven. Like, you should be trying to make it you should be trying to do your best for God. Like, you running a race. You should be trying to do your best, man. When you see a person, you be trying to, like, look, man, I'm going to help them the most. You know, I'm going to help them. I'm going to do the best I can. Like, if you see a person, like, you start suffering, be like, look, man, I'm going to suffer for one more day. You know, let me look at the calendar, man. I done fasted for 3 days. Let me do it one more day. Because, you know, I'm doing this for God. You understand? When I'm going out in the world, preaching the gospel or doing these videos take time, work, You understand? These take time. I could be doing other things. I could be doing something, getting some money. You know what I'm saying? I could be doing other things, but I do these stuff. I get up, I do it. I make sure it's done for God. Same way, like I said, when you guys preaching on the streets, you see people putting themselves out there. They spending their hard time is money, man. Time you don't get back. People spending their time going out there to speak to others and get them on the next level and get them on the next path. They get spit on. They get people to curse them out. They get people to dump stuff on them, dump liquids on them, get people to call them names, get people to touch them, hit them. Those people endure for God. And when they get, to the heavenly realm, if they make it to heaven, God's going to direct them according to their actions and get them gifts. Like, God may get them a different occupation in heaven or things to do, you know what I'm saying, because of what they did on the earth. And I guarantee you that when the person who have a lot in heaven, you know what I'm saying, the person who just made it to heaven, like they just made it there, they not gonna be looking at the person with a lot in jealousy or talking about, man, look at what I guarantee you. I guarantee you. You know why? Because they made it to a place that not many people gonna even make it to. They just got in there, and the stuff that they got is gonna be astronomically 10 times better than the best mansion that you've seen on earth. And that's the lowest person in heaven. You better believe that. And that's a promise from God. You understand? Ain't nobody gonna be in there. Ain't gonna be no strife. Ain't gonna be no people having no jealousy. No, and so, man, look at that nigga right there. Ain't gonna be none of that. Ain't gonna be none of that. It's just gonna be levels to it. If you want to go holler at your brother or your sister there, man, I'll probably, go slide up in, Lord willing, I'll make it there. I'll slide up in the heavenly realm, man, just to visit, and chop it up. That's it. But, I will say this, man. Let's just do what we can on earth to do our best for the Lord. To where when the race is done and it's said and done, you look up, you mess around, you didn't got the gold medal, and you're in the race that you were running. You got the gold, or you may look up and you got the silver, you know what I'm saying? You was trying your best and you got the silver. Okay. But just understand it's levels to things because of effort. It's levels to things because of things that different people are different. They put in different things. That's just how it is. So with that being said, I hope again, and don't feel, even on earth, man, don't feel like you should be jealous of another person because of their spiritual gifts or because of what God has for them. Don't ever feel like that, because God has that for them. That is their spiritual gift. Just worry about honing yours. There's many times, man, in the Bible, in the book of Acts, and this is, let's start at chapter 9 and verse 10. It said, now there was in Damascus a believer named Ananias, I'm sorry. And the Lord spoke to him in a vision, calling Ananias. And understand, this is also like my last video I did about visions and thoughts from the Lord. The Lord spoke to him in a vision. You understand? He came into his mind. That means in a vision, that means in Ananias's mind, God was there and gave him imagery, spoke to him and gave him imagery in his mind that we know. You understand? So it said that and he said, Ananias replied, yes, Lord. And the Lord said, go over to Straight Street and find a house of a man named Judas, and ask there for Paul of Tarsus. He is praying to me right now, for I have shown him a vision of a man named Ananias coming and laying hands on him so he can see again. But Lord, exclaimed Ananias. See, this is what Ananias responded. He was like, Lord, I've heard about the terrible things that this man have done to the believers in Jerusalem. And we hear that he has arrest warrants with him from the chief priest authorizing to arrest every believer in Damascus. But the Lord said, go and do what I said. For Paul is my chosen instrument to take my message to the nations and before the kings, as well as to the people of Israel. And I will show him how much he must suffer for me. Do you understand? The Lord, Ananias is a believer, man. God gave him a vision. God spoke to him, so he trusted him enough to go carry out what he told him to do. But Ananias asked God. He was like, whoa. Like, this dude doing all the dirt. Like, he arresting people. He arresting Christians and stuff like that. He got arrest warrants right now. I'm a believer. I'm with you. But you want me to go, heal him and go to him? Man, the Lord said, go and do what I say. That's it. Don't even worry about it. You understand? And that's how we can be content. I'm content in the Lord. Do you understand? I'm not worried about what another man got. I ain't worried about what another woman got. I could care less. I'm only happy and content in what God have for me. Now, if I'm not going and getting what God have for me, that's when I'm gonna have a problem. That's when I should be, you should be depressed and start feeling like you need to do that. But depression, all that stuff is God warning you. You have that feeling because you're not living up to what God wants you to do. That's it. Some people haven't even found it. You understand? And that's the sad thing about it. But I just want to go ahead and just touch on this topic. I know this is something that you really don't hear in church, but that's, unfortunate, because we need to get back to speaking biblical messages and things, just topics of about God and the mysteries we need to start exploring the mysteries of the Bible as well. You understand? So with that being said, this is The Awakening. Peace and blessings to the hearers and doers of the Lord's word.